Hi, my name is Jerry Wise, and I'm a relationship expert, and I am the director of the Center for Self-Differentiation at Family Tree Counseling Associates in Indianapolis, Indiana. I work with clients in my office and online, and I have over 100 free videos on YouTube for you to view. This video is entitled, "The Situation is Hopeless, but Not Serious." I'd love to take credit for this title, but I really can't. I had a favorite author that I used to read, and he wrote a book back in the 80s. I think it was 1983 when he actually wrote it. And it was entitled, "The Situation is Hopeless, but Not Serious." And in parentheses, "The Pursuit of Unhappiness." And the author is Paul Waltzlawick. Excuse me, it has an L in there, Waltzlawick. He was the professor of psychiatry at Stanford University Medical Center. And he wrote a number of books that were very helpful to me in my formation period of learning about working with people, relationships, and in a professional way helping people. So he really gave me the idea for this phrase that I've used ever since the 80s. And so I wanted to give him credit for that work rather than you just thinking it was something clever I came up with. You know, have you ever found yourself feeling caught in this situation? You don't see a situation changing. You don't see them changing or other people changing. You feel your needs aren't being met, or you're being abandoned or shortchanged or not cared about. You feel that without meeting those needs, you'll be very, very unhappy, and life will be catastrophic, or life would have to change drastically in a negative way for you to be happy. And then you think, if this doesn't change, I don't know what I will do. It will be awful. I know I've been in that situation a number of times. And for many years, that was a rather common situation. I have clients and couples all the time who come to me with this dilemma. Most of the time, it is not the situation which is unbearable. It is how they experience the situation as it is, how they catastrophize it, how they feel hopeless and pained about it. That often is the seriousness of it versus the situation itself. And let me give you an example. We'll use John as an example. That could be John, Mary, Betty, Fred. John has lived under his father's criticism and narcissism since childhood. His father is rather narcissistic and has never really been empathetic or accepting. John continues to live out this struggle in his adult life. He's always feeling criticized by his wife and feeling unaccepted by his friends, unaccepted by his boss, unaccepted by his wife, unaccepted by his kids. He keeps trying to get approval from his dad by becoming successful or advancing in his career, or having a great or a perfect family, or being a perfect Christian, let's say. Anything to get Dad's approval. But guess what? He always falls short. He is upset that he never gets his father's approval. He has even complained to his mother on a number of occasions for years about this problem, and she understands. Because actually, she doesn't get it from his father either. She doesn't get acceptance from him. And it's at that point that I share with the client and share with John, you know, I just want you to know the situation is hopeless, but it's not serious. John immediately starts to relax. He sits back on the couch in my office. He looks a little confused, but also has a part of him that is saying, you know, this is exactly true. I know this is true. and he feels inside that I'm right, though he wonders how he will get unhooked from this Gordian knot with his father. Maybe it is hopeless, and maybe it isn't serious. John thinks, I've never thought of it that way before. I've never thought about thinking about it that way. And immediately John begins to experience a little self-differentiation from his father at this particular moment. He experiences just a little crack in the enmeshment he has had with his father all of his life. I've even had some say, I don't like what you're saying, but I know you're right. But I don't like it. I'm not even sure I agree with it. But I know you're right. And I'll respond, well, I agree with you. I didn't like it either. Because it's not a statement that fits in my paradigm. It does not fit in there. Oftentimes we experience the over-seriousness that I spoke about in a previous video, which keeps us enmeshed with our family of origin and with others. The bottom line is this: a situation that is hopeless does not mean that it has to matter, or be catastrophic, or even mean much of anything. So John asks, so how can I make it not matter? We always tend to move to the how question. Even though we've just experienced a little bit of self-differentiation and just experienced some detachment, we then go, well, then how do I do this? Like it's somehow a magic trick. Or so how do I make it not matter, Jerry? John would ask. And I respond, you will when you are ready. It's not a how question, it's a when question. When you are ready to let your dad go, then it will resolve itself within you. So let's work on getting you ready. Not teaching you how, let's work on getting you ready to do that. And we work on what are the downsides of letting go of dad, or letting go of dad's approval, and looking at what does he lose by giving up his need for his father's approval. All of that is preparation for the readiness to let go. And not many sessions later, John responds, I really don't need my dad's approval anymore. He's just a person like I am. I don't need a parent any longer. I have a father, but I don't need a parent. He will always be my biological father, but it's not something he can fix in me. I must fix it. I keep thinking he's the one that will resolve this within me, John says, but it's actually I who have to resolve this, not dad. He will just keep being dad. He will just keep being him. But does it matter anymore when he is just the way he is as dad? John says, it doesn't matter so much anymore. It just kind of rolls off. Wow, this is really different. This is really a different experience for me. And I say, I know. It's a very different experience. If you find the situation is hopeless and you are powerless to change them or change the situation, remember you are now powerful to change you, and you're not powerless to change you. You can change you. I was working on another video, and I was going to share some of those tips with you. And I think I might go ahead and share them with you. Yes, I want to go ahead and share some of these tips with you. It was kind of a video based on the idea, don't just do something stupid, stand there. Versus a takeoff from the saying, don't just stand there stupid, do something. Because many times we need to center ourselves before we do anything. But oftentimes we do something before we center ourselves. And many times we need to stop and do nothing, because often we're playing into the pattern, the emotional field, and not helping the situation at all. We're staying stuck. Some tips for centering yourself in a hopeless situation, and one that we have made ourselves believe is very serious. Here are some things we can do. Lower our expectations of them and the situation, which is dealing with your illusions about the situation, such that if I don't have my dad's approval, I'll never be happy and never feel okay about myself. That's an illusion. It's a myth. For 20 years, your wife has always been critical of you. Yet we expect them not to be critical and expect them to be loving tomorrow. And if they're not, then they must be wounding me badly. No, that is our naivety in not accepting that this is the way my wife is. And it is an indicator of family of origin issues for me, that it bothers me so much. And naivety and subjectivity is always a way to indicate there's family of origin issues that need to be addressed. Secondly, I use this model, think of them as crazy and accept them as crazy. Well, they're just crazy. That's just who they are. We're all crazy. I don't mean that in a psychiatric sense. I mean, we're just all individuals with our own weaknesses and faults. Don't take what they say or do as personal. It's the reason they feel, think, and do the things they do is within them, not because of you. If your dad doesn't give you that approval, it's not because you're not approvable. It's because dad doesn't approve of himself and has learned that from his family of origin. It's not that you're causing him not to approve of him. It's the way it's done in your family. It's the paradigm that you learn from your family. And this is when we stop idealizing them and idealizing parents and idealizing family. And for example, our parents become Bob and Mary versus capital Dad, D Dad, capital M Mom internally. They become people rather than parents. Stop getting caught emotionally. Stop getting caught in reactivity. And stop giving your power away to them. There are ways to learn how to do that. There are ways to prepare to do that. And that's what I work on as a coach and a relationship expert. Stop trying to change or improve them. Stop seeking understanding. And again, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Stop requiring or demanding somebody understand you. The situation may be hopeless, but it's not serious. Just because someone doesn't understand you doesn't mean your life is horrible. Stop trying to get money out of an empty ATM. Many times we're trying to get that money out of a bank that doesn't have any. And then we wonder why we're so frustrated. And it must be me. It must be my fault. It must be because of me. No, maybe they just don't have any money in their ATM. Maybe they don't have that emotional ability in them to be intimate, to be accepting, to be caring, to be non-critical. They just don't have that within them. But we keep putting in our PIN number and hoping we'll get out acceptance and caring and loving. And then what can we do? Given who they are, what type of relationship do you want and can you have with them? For example, if your husband is grumpy when he gets up in the morning, and in fact has been grumpy every morning since you've been married, so I will need to give up the cuddling in the morning dream, because that's not something he's going to do. And I'll have to move that desire to another time of the day. Well, she's critical all the time. Well, I need to become less reactive and less wounded by her critical nature or her critical inner issues. You can learn to be less wounded by that. Now, you can always decide about a relationship. That's up to you. And by the way, every bit of advice I give in this video does not fit everyone in every situation. Sometimes I'll have comments, people will comment on my videos and say, well, but in my situation, I don't think it's very good advice. And you're right, it may not be. So I don't ask people to read or to listen to my videos to exactly tell them what they should do in their situation. I'm talking about a paradigm, a way to think about things. Certainly if you want individualized help, then that's where you need to give me a call or send me an email. And of course, the ideal is for an entire marriage or both partners to get professional guidance, or even have the entire family get professional help, or even the relationship that you're in. Sometimes both are ready, sometimes one is ready, and sometimes one's ready to start. Sometimes one is not ready. Start with whomever is ready, but start. And I can begin to do marital coaching with folks with just one spouse. It will work. So how do you start? Give me a call or email me. Contact me for an appointment. My contact information is on the screen. If you want to learn more about how situations are hopeless but not serious, begin your journey of self-differentiation. If you want to write me, I'll send you some resources on that. Please join our YouTube channel, Family Tree Counseling channel on YouTube. Remember, I've got another 100 videos on YouTube that might be of help to you. I want to thank you very much for watching today, and have a great day.